to Sahara TV. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. This is the Skype call segment when we give you the chance to give us feedback on some of the things we've been discussing. Today we've had a very interesting show. We spoke to delegates to the national conference going on in Abuja. At this moment, we spoke to Mr. Lisa Adebokoba, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, and also Pastor Tunde Bakare, who is the overseer of the Latter Rain Assembly. We also spoke to Namdi Kano, who is the director of the Radio Biafra in London. He is opposed to the national conference. He's actually opposed to Nigeria as it is. We hope he will join us during this Skype segment so that you will have the chance to ask him any questions that you might have. And also we spoke to a Premium Times reporter who is covering the national conference and many other things. Now we are going to go to our Skype calls and we talk to our viewers who've been watching. We want to know what they think about our program so far today. And joining us via Skype is from Canada, we have Colijo. Colijo, welcome back to Sahara TV.
My pleasure, thank you.
From Switzerland, we have Hansen. Hansen, welcome back to Sahara TV.
Thanks so much.
And also from Canada, we have Polu. Olua Polu. Did I pronounce it well?
Pole.
Pole is the name.
Olu, okay.
Pole.
Pole, okay. Pole from Canada. Welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
All right. So let's start with what we know. The first week is gone. We have 11 more weeks to go at the national conference at the cost of 7 billion naira. All we know is that during this first week, they got paid yesterday. 492 delegates. Most of them got their pay of 1.5 million. And what have they discussed? They've discussed sitting arrangements. They've discussed the rules. They discussed what kind of prayer should start their sittings. So I'll come to you in Geneva. Hansen, first week is gone. What is your take?
It's a disgrace. You know, it's really a disgrace that these people, these idle men, they came together just to discuss where they will sit and which prayer, who will say the prayer, and after everything they go home with 1.4 million naira. That's a cool business, you know. Just imagine someone earning 1.4 million naira every week. You know, it's really painful. It shows how that Nigerians, I mean, the so-called leaders in Nigeria are just shameful. You know, they are shameless people, and they have no shame at all. It's very painful anyway. We're in trouble in that country.
Colijo, we spoke to Bakare, and Bakare took time to explain that, well, when you hear about this money, that we have to be aware that it's expensive to live in Abuja, that these people have to eat and feed themselves and stay in a hotel. That typical hotels in Abuja is about 40,000 naira a day. He's not justifying the money, but should we be concerned about that when we hear figures like this?
Rudolf, I don't think the hotel he's talking about, if I'm sure, he said something about 40,000 a day. That is 5-star now. They have other hotels now, other small hotels. They can put them in hostels, put all of them. Is there a sin to put everyone delegate? They discuss every night. That's what they do in conference. We go for conference. They must not stay in a big hotel. That money alone, the money they're giving them monthly, I don't know whether that money, that 1.something million includes the hotel money, or is that aside? Because I don't understand these figures they're mentioning every day. So we shouldn't bother about the money. Let's talk about the conference. Because this money, I don't understand. Because I don't know whether Rudolf, you guys have the facts, whether the money they're giving them, that 1.something, does it include feeding too? Or is it just an allowance every time? So those are the things we know. So we'll know where we're attacking them from.
All right, we'll find We'll find the details very soon. Let me come to you, Olua. what is, looking at the first week, what do you think about the performance so far? And does that give you any reason to be hopeful that these people will tackle the serious issues that are facing the country?
Okay, thank you. To start with, I want to talk about the 7 billion naira we've been shouting about. It is in this same Nigeria that Tafa Balogun stole almost 19 billion naira. The same Nigeria, Alice Madueke, they said she rented or she's been servicing a movement for over 10 billion naira for 2 years. The same Nigeria, we have like $10 billion missing. So those are money individuals sat on, and Nigeria has not disintegrated. So I wonder why spending 7 billion naira for 490 people, let's say 500 people, and adding another 500, accomplices they would have, I don't think it's too much. As far as I'm concerned, I think the money is just, getting around and touching more hands. So I don't have any problem with that. And for the first week, I think it is, expected that they have, issues with settling down. So I don't also see it as a big deal. I believe it will even take them maybe 1 or 2 more weeks to get into serious business. Bringing 400 people into a single conference is not a small deal. So I want us to be a bit patient with them and also be hopeful.
Okay.
That's my concern.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So Hansen, let me come to you, because looking at what is being reported in the media today, the Punch published a piece where they spoke to delegates, and there seemed to be a very clear line of demarcation, and it's on the issue of physical federalism. That is, they are talking about how to structure the country and in the relationship between the individual regions or states to the federal government. The people from the southern part of Nigeria were proposing a weak center, while the people from the northern part of the country would like the center to be strong. What's the take on that, Hansen?
Good. Before I answer your question, first of all, I really disagree with the Olua Bonle. Why? My reason is that some of those 80% of those men or women that are in Abuja for that conference, so many of them, they have their various houses there. Okay, so there's no reason of them staying in the hotel. Number one. Secondly, so many of them that are rich, they have money already. Okay, and so many of them are the problem of Nigerians' problem. So for them coming together free to talk about how to clear the mess they created, taking 1.4 million naira every week is a shame. Okay, that one apart. Now back to your question. I say good luck, Rudolf. I'm sorry. Anyway, to me,
I see who is laughing. All of you, I could see you here. Go ahead.
To me, sincerely speaking, the best thing what Nigeria need is that the center need to be weak. Okay, because center being strong is the cause of the whole corruption that we are facing. And center being strong, that is why every Nigerians want to be president. Every part of Nigeria, they want to produce president, because they feel that whenever they are president, okay, then we have the possibility, okay, to lay their hands into the national cake. But in a situation that center is weak, it will be better. Everybody will fight hard to, to develop their own region or their own zone.
Okay. All right. College, what do you think?
To jump on fiscal federalism, right? It's a kind of way. Let me put it this way: it's a kind of way which power is distributed in the society to improve the life of any society. And I support that, because if this power is distributed, we won't have resource allocation, distribution, and resource control. Because at that point, everything is spread out, because there's too much power in that Abuja. According to Odebode is always saying that on this program. And that is true, because the president can wake up one morning and do and undo without anyone checkmating him or something. So I really support that this idea of fiscal federalism, if we can achieve it. Because I don't know the pros and cons of it.
Oluwapanle, what do you think?
Okay, thank you so much. To start with, the first time let me say, after this Boko Haram issue became a big issue for Nigeria, sometime I just sat down, let me even study what these guys are agitating for. And after doing a brief, or let me say a 2 or 3 days study, I found that they actually have a point, right? But most of us have not been patient to even sit down to know what are they really, what's the core of the agitation. We just assume and hear things and just take it up from there. Now, on the issue you were talking about, the Southerners have a point, and the point is, which I also agree with, the center should be weak. The Northerners, you said, also have a point that the center should be strong. The question is, why are the Northerners thinking in that direction? I think that's what we should find out, and that will form the basis, for moving forward. Because the more we say no, they should not do it that way, they also be enforcing, and Nigeria will continue the way it is if we continue to hold on to our stance without even knowing the reason behind some of.
Okay, that's a good point, Olua. Let me tell you the reason. The main reason why people feel that there should be someone has their live stream up. So could you please turn it down?
It's Kalijo.
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So the main reason is this: the resource control. That is the reason why the idea of having a federal system where the federating units are not connected to the federal in the strong way that it is today is being resisted in some parts of the country. So I want you to tell me what you think about resource control. Now the line is also divided there. Within that delegate group and the conference, we have people who feel that the money going to the South-South region is actually too much, that they don't own the oil. And we have people who are feeling that the whole thing should come to them and they should just pay taxes to the federal government. Hansen, how do you bring these two together and where do you stand on that?
I think the best thing to do is that I think, the way it is here in the area that I am, okay? Each region, they produce whatever they can, and whatever they have, what they do is that they pay taxes to the federal government. I think that's the best way to do it. Each state, because if they do it that way, the whole state, there will be a competition. Okay, those who cannot produce petrol, they will maybe, if it's food they can produce, they will do it. At the end of the day, they will sell it to others, and they will pay taxes to the federal government. So there will be a competition. In a situation of, every state giving to federal government whatever they have, and at the end of the month, federal government gives them allocation, it's not helping matters. Because at the end of the day, you give a state governor allocation for his own state, he will embezzle everything. Okay, because the money comes in block. So it's easily to fly the money to Switzerland here and they keep it somewhere, and the state continue languishing in poverty. So it's better that each state, okay, control whatever they produce and then pay taxes to federal government.
Okay, Kalijo, now I know that you are from the southern part of the country. Someone from the north is saying that people in River State, their income per head based on the money they are getting from oil resources is about $9,000 each. But if you go to a northern state like maybe Sokoto State, you find people getting $300 each. Is that a fair arrangement?
So you mean the particular place producing the oil?
Yes.
$9,000 a day.
No, per head, per individual in that state.
Per individual in that state.
Yes.
In the northern region where they don't produce the oil.
Yeah, you'll find them getting like $300 per person.
Oh, that's really hard to tell. But again, I don't know how that works. But again, the people producing it I would say they should get more.
No, but that's what they're saying is that this is currently at 13%, because okay, the allocation formula we have now is 13% to the oil producing states. So what that boils down to is about 9,000 in River State and 300 per person in Sokoto State.
So right now, is it the same like that in all 50 states?
Well, the figures are different, but it's about, you can have an idea what it looks like. For instance, the budget in Delta State is about 400 and something billion. But the budget in, I think, Enugu State or Anambra State is about 80-something billion, where they don't have oil revenue. In Ekiti State, the budget might be about less than 100 billion. So does that make you feel that you are part of a federation, a country?
A country. See, it comes down to which country or which state is generating more revenue for the economy. That's the way I see it. Like if you look at the northern region, you will see, okay, how much revenue are they generating for the Nigeria economy? So if they're talking about the amount they're getting, I think the states generating this oil, they should get more. Because Rudolf, you don't expect them to allocate the same money they allocate to Ekiti State to Lagos State. Let's say, for instance, because there are two. Lagos is like the hub of the country. Just giving an example. Well, I think the countries producing this oil should actually get more. I don't see any reason why another person should eat out of those people's labor.
Okay.
Should I come in, Rudolf?
Yeah, let me hear from Oluwa Banle.
I don't know if I'm right.
Okay, I think I'll change my Skype name so that
I can call it right. Yeah. What name do you want? Oluwa, is that okay?
call me Ponle without the Oluwa.
Oh, okay. Banle. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
It's manageable. All right, my own opinion about this resource control issue is, I think making the resource available to you the only criteria for the percentage you should get, I think is a wrong factor, to use, because number one, those resources are natural resources, and so far we are Nigerians. It belongs to Nigeria. Of course, it belongs to some people. So my point being, if, for example, in the north where there's desert encroachment, you are not, the country is not intervening. All you are thinking about is some other people have oil, so they should have all the money. I think it's a wrong, Another thing is Lagos State, where you have 15 million people, and their money available to Lagos is not even compared to what's available to Delta State, where you have lesser people. So my point is, there should be different, factors brought to the table. Let everybody bring in their own factors, and let's, decide how to divide it. But the resource available in your state should not be the only criteria why you should take all the money, in that locality. That's my simple point. Okay. Because
But let me ask you, because in Lagos State, for instance, the federal government might not give them a lot of money, but they raise a lot of money from taxes, more than all the states in the country. I mean, maybe half of the state together, they raise more money from taxes. So they may, at the end, have more money than Delta State that is getting more money from the federal government.
Yeah. Let me just cite an example. Here in Canada, there are some provinces, I think the Yukon and the Northern Territories. Those guys, they don't have the population, and of course, it's affecting the economy. But being in those areas means you are entitled to some benefits that is accrued from the federal, government of Canada. Because naturally, what the government does is, they try to support those systems so that they will not crash. So my point is, fine, you can raise your money, you can enjoy your natural resources, but there should be other indices, to compensate for the other guys. So far they are Nigerians, then we should treat ourselves as Nigerians. We should, not be divisive. Deceiving. I don't know that's my point.
All right. Hansen, there's something that came up when we were talking to Tunde Bakare. He said that 10% of the states, only 10% of the states in Nigeria are viable. So you can say only 4 states in the federation are viable. I'm not sure what state you come from and whether it's viable, but do you think that we should, the delegates at this conference, they should look into abolishing some of these states that are not viable? And how do you tell the people in those states that their states are no longer there and the governors are no longer governors?
Okay, before I answer your question, please, I will go back to what Oluwakwanle just said. You cannot, listen, the situation in Nigeria is that, assuming that you've been to Delta states, or been to Bayelsa states, or been to River states, all those oil-producing states, and see what those people are going through, see the pollution there. You understand me? You will agree with me that the money they are giving to them is even small. And moreover, the 300 per head they're talking about, the money comes from the same oil, not that not giving them anything. So the money the federal government is giving them, okay, although if it's properly used or managed, it will develop those areas. Okay, so they deserve to earn more. Because, for example, when you go to Lagos State or Ogun State, okay, you have your water running freely, no problem, it's not polluted. But when you go to Delta State, all their farmlands are being polluted, and their waters are being polluted. Those fishermen there, they cannot go and fish anymore because the pollution has been, the whole fish there have been contaminated. Okay, so when you go through all these reports, you will know that the money that federal government is giving them is even small. Now, come to what the question you ask, Rudolf. I don't think that it is necessary. Okay, we have 36 states. In 36 states that was created illegally, of course. But at the same time, it's already there. Okay, so there's no need of dissolving them. We should allow them to exist and then look for a way to help them so that they will be, they can be able to exist, in fact.
Rudolf, can I jump in and ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, like, okay, Hyson is making a good point, but let's look at it this way. A state is not, if they're not doing well, or states are not doing well, is it not advisable for we to merge those states with the ones doing well, so that they can also help each other and the country can grow, than we just dividing out, saying, oh, this state, we give them money. And we know that since years, like since independence, or maybe since time they were created, these states have not been doing well, no matter how much you spend on them. So why not we merge some states? That's what I don't know that that's part of the topic. I don't know that that's part of the topic they're going to discuss in the conference. Merging of states, is that going to catapult us to our nationhood?
Yeah, exactly. They are going to discuss that if they want to, and the idea is that the idea behind that is that 75% of our resources are going to payment of civil servants, political appointees, people who are, because if you have a state, you have to have a governor. But if you combine states together, you have only one governor, and that would be less money paid to people running these states. So go ahead. I want to hear your opinion, Banle.
Yeah, just to point out, just refer back to Hansen. When I say the resources or whatever criteria, I've not even mentioned the criteria. The ecological degradation is also a criteria, to put into consideration to what, is available to you. So that said, now coming back to this question, what merging or even creating more states is a factor that affects so many things. It affects the economy, it affects, the cultural and sociological and political system. So to me, I don't think I wouldn't know. I don't have an opinion right now, and I don't think that's even an area I don't think that's our problem. The only thing I think is important to talk about is the local government system. Should it be scrapped, or should states be allowed to create as many as they want? I think that's what is more fun. For now, for the 36 states, I think they've done a good job in dividing it to that level, and I think that's good enough.
Okay, Hans, go ahead.
All right. To rephrase that question, so that everyone will understand. How many states can we say are doing well?
Oh, he said that only 10% are doing well, which is about...
that is 4 states or 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 36.
That's what they call failure. That is, in Nigeria, they call it carryover. Here, they call it do the course again. That is failure out of 36. You get what I mean?
Now, this is what Bakari suggested. Instead of abolishing or dissolving those states, that we should structure the country along the geopolitical zones, the 6 geopolitical zones, and such that any geopolitical zone could decide on the number of states they have. So, for instance, if the Western zone decides that the 5 states they have is good, or that it's not enough, they want to create more, they can do that. But that the relationship between the federal government should be federal government and the zones, the 6 geopolitical zones. That way we avoid the issue of dissolving the states.
Dissolving the states.
Exactly.
Because the reason why I'm asking these questions is because of, what we did to our bank. I know the bank is not state, but what we did to the bank of merging those banks that are not doing well and scrapping some. It helped the banking system. So that can also be applicable in the state. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think if we try it, because Rudolf, how long are we going to tolerate these states, not doing well for a long time? So if we merge them with states who are doing well, we may see improvement, or geopolitical, as you are saying now.
Okay, Hansen.
Of course. Yeah. Should I come in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly. Akalijo, if you remember, last week we discussed something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we talk about. I mean, that is behind the scene, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly. So it's a good idea if they can do it. That's a solid idea, and it will help also to weaken the power in the center. So the country will be basically on maybe six geopolitical zones. Then each zone will work hard to develop their own zone. There will be a competition, and things will move on well.
Because Rudolf, again, why I'm saying this again, sorry if I'm interrupting. Why I'm saying this is because this guy that came and talked about Biafra, they feel left out. Once a certain group of people feel their attention, or the government is not responding to their needs, that's what's bring about all these insurgent groups. So with that merging of states, they create attention is given to minority sectors. Like this Biafra guy now talking about Biafra. If these states if they're giving him attention, and you heard what he said they were trying to achieve their needs. I mean, they pushed their mission through Afghan party, but nobody listened to them. Those are part of the reasons why merging of states may be very vital.
Now, we'll talk about the Biafran guy briefly, but let me come to you, Anle. You talked about Boko Haram at the beginning, and you said that you looked into what their goal, what they wanted, and what did you find out, and how is it? Do you think that they will have been very useful as a group that will attend this national conference?
Okay, yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Boko Haram is an illegal group. You don't want to have constituency of armed robbers, prostitutes, and all those kind of sets represented in a place where nationhood is being discussed. That's not my point. The point what I found out basically was the word Boko Haram, is book and forbidden. And what they said was before Western education came, there was prosperity in the north, the northern pyramid, there was peace and tranquility. They had their system of dispensing justice and distributing wealth. But the moment Western education came, the whole institution that their generations have built got scattered, and they think for the north to be prosperous, they need to go back to that. Now that argument has some genuineness in it, and if you want to analyze the argument, what they want is simply prosperity and peace in even though they are going about it in the wrong way, accepted. But behind that argument, they want peace, they want prosperity. So if what they are saying is, if what we have now cannot guarantee it, if the Nigeria of today cannot guarantee it, then we have to go all the way. And I think that's the agitation the Biafran guy also has, because everybody is disappointed with the system, and we all have different ways of agitating for our needs.
Okay.
So that's my finding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hansen, let me talk to you about one of the issues raised by Nnamdi Kano, the Biafran guy, about Ikenwachukwu as the leader of the delegates, Igbo delegates to the national conference. What is your take on that issue? Because it seems to be growing now over the last 1 week.
To me, I did not monitor the Biafran guy interview. Okay, I don't know much what he said. Skalijo was telling me about him, and we were discussing before the program started. I did not know much, so I don't think that I will comment much on that.
But do you know that Ikenwachukwu is the head of the Igbo delegates to the national conference?
Yes, I know that, and
what do you think?
I know it. Yeah, it's part of it's part of the. That's what I said earlier, that these people are part of the problems. Okay, so when you created mess, you don't call the same people that created mess to come and clear it up. Okay, because even though when they go there, they will try to protect their own interest altogether. So it's better that we look for people that are very neutral. But anyway, they are there. We hope that something good will come out from Abuja.
Okay.
I wonder.
Okay, College-o, so what are you looking up to hearing or seeing at the conference for next week?
I was, okay, before I even go to next week, I was actually, should I say, was disappointed to hear them, you know, talk about pray and how they are going to pray or who is going to pray. Remember, some months back or some weeks back, I said this. I said, when we are coming to this conference, we should drop all sentiments, drop all religion, everything aside. We come in here as a Nigerian, because we're walking in there now with all those our sentiments. Oh, I'm from this part of the country. We are going to use this thing to pray. That will not make us to reach a consensus, to reach a particular conclusion at the end of the conference. And this first week, I'm already talking about prayer. Hey, you're going to sit down here. Those are part of the things I was talking about before. The second week, I don't know what I'm going to talk about.
But College-o, let me ask you. The chairman of the conference basically was praying the way he used to pray. Obviously, I don't think he just decided to pray that way because he's at the national conference. Okay. And so Tunde Bakare had issues with that because he did that twice. Mm-hmm. I believe that some of these things, places that they said there are no-go areas, they'll be forced to go and deal with that. Because that prayer right there brought about the issue of what do we have on our currency? Do we have Arabic writings on it? So there are many issues you can't run away from.
Okay, that's true.
Eventually, they will come up, you know. So, and I think that is the right place to have them discussed and find solutions to them. All right. All right.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, we are running out of time. I know we want to talk more, but let me come to you. Okay. So I have 3 minutes. So what are you looking forward to hearing them tackle serious issues for next week?
Well, for next week, the issue of our nationhood should be discussed. But my interest is, you know, discussing it in a scientific way, because Nigerians, we are known to be so sentimental, you know, we are known to be so religious, and we are known to be so ethnic, you know, motivated. So any way they want, let them discuss, but let them be more scientific, because that's the only way we can move forward as a nation.
Hansen, do you see people who reason in a scientific way within the list of delegates?
They don't even need to reason in a scientific way. Let them just sit down and, you know, discuss how to solve Nigerian problems, and agree in unison. Okay, so that is most important thing. So to me, I don't know if it's gonna be possible, because the way Nigerian is today, the other part of Nigeria, I mean the Northerners, they hold the power, they don't want to release the power. So I hope they will accept, for the interest of the unity of Nigeria, to agree to release some power so that Nigeria will continue to be in unity.
All right, we have 2 minutes left. So let me come to you, College-o. Now, tell me what's keeping you up at night.
Okay. What's keeping me up at night is whether we are going to actually reach a consensus at this dinner conference, because this is the only way we can achieve peace and stability in this country. Again, what's keeping me up at night again is the politics of personality that has continued to dominate our Nigerian scene. That's what's keeping me up at night.
All right. Banle?
Yeah.
What's keeping you up at night?
Well, what's keeping me up at night is Boko Haram. Yeah, because it's an impending evil in the nation, and you know I'm very concerned, and I hope it will not, you know, go beyond the 3 states, and even the 3 states, I hope they will enjoy peace.
Now let me ask you, didn't you hear the president say this week that they are removing the kid glove they've been using to treat? Is that not giving you a kind of a confidence that things will change?
I'll be very sincere with you. We've heard that over and over, right? But I'm a very optimistic person, because if you check out the news of recent weeks, the military have really been doing a great job, and I hope it will continue that way. you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Hanson, what's keeping you up at night?
Yeah, exactly. The good Lord Jonathan is in Rome, okay, Vatican. He's there to take a magic
Why?
tech to come and change things in Nigeria. So immediately he goes back to Nigeria, you will see Boko Haram will disappear, everything will be okay.
Thank you.
Rudolf,
Yeah.
I said, why didn't we talk about Jonathan leaving the country, going to go and see the Pope?
Yeah, we're talking about that next week.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
With
that's
pleasure. It was fun.
Panle from Canada, and Hansen in Switzerland, and College Joe in Canada. When we come back, we are going to continue our shows. Remember, coming up, we will show you Keeping It Real, Africa in the City, Dr. Damages, and many more. Stay tuned.